Okay. Okay, we're filming.
Okay. Cool. Oh my gosh.
What
What
a hard
a
workout.
oh my gosh. Plus it's like first thing in the morning for me, so I'm like
Yeah.
trying to drink my coffee and well, I basically just want to redo what we did last time. And because last time the quality was so bad, you guys, your personality didn't really come through because it kept stopping and starting. But the biggest thing was that you guys looked like blobs. And trying to sell something, trying to say like, oh hey, give us 10 grand so we can fly down to Australia
and see these blobs.
They don't look like blobs in real life. It doesn't really work.
Yep.
So let me. What are you recording on right now? Is it a phone?
An iPhone. Yep. Yeah,
an iPhone. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do after. Sorry, you go.
Oh, so you should be able to just upload the footage to like a private YouTube channel or something, and then we can. That might be the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Michael about it, and I just said I'll get my because what I'm going to do after this, I'm going to put them all on a file and try and email them to you. Yeah.
Cool. That would be awesome. Yeah, because right now all we're trying to do is get to get approval to use some of the money that we have for development to film something. If you guys lived in Connecticut, it would be very easy. Hold on one second. I'm going to start recording this Skype just in case. All right. So I guess the first question would be, tell me a little bit about your childhood and how you got into this. And I especially love the pig catching story.
Which one? When we had to jump
the first time when you were getting. But yeah, when you were in the Jeep with your dad.
Right. Yep. Well, we were born in a hospital, obviously, but we were brought up out bush, so we were raised out bush. We forever have loved going camping, hunting, fishing. We've just kind of been bought into loving it because that's all we did, that's all Dad did, that's all Mum did, so that's all we kind of did. But, I mean, we love it now, so we're very thankful that we had that knowledge being younger, and being able to have and do all those things when we were younger really helps us out now be able to do them because we're, I don't know, I guess better at it when you've done it for such a long time.
Now, can you tell me how long has your family been living out there?
Okay, well, we were living out there since I can remember, from a baby, straight out there, and then when we turned about 11 years old, we moved back. Mum moved back into town. Dad stayed out there still. Then Dad moved to somewhere else, still out bush, just a little, like a more into town way, so more interstate than out of state. It's still out bush. That's where we go and see him now. That's where he still lives now. Still plenty of cattle, still plenty of pigs, still plenty of fishing. It backs onto a river called Adelaide River. Good fishing there. We love it. It was good living out there as well with Dad. So you got a bit of Mum living in town and Dad living out bush, which was the best of both worlds a little bit. So yeah, we're pretty lucky.
Now, can you tell me what your dad does for work, and then roll it into the story about the first time you guys ever caught pigs?
Okay, you want to say something? Right. So Dad's a cattle farmer, and he's a feed farmer. So he creates hay for the horses and the cattle and stuff. But he's also got a mango orchard. All the connections there. That's all right. And so he's got mangoes out there, so the pigs always come in and dig up the roots and stuff, and they're a big pest up here, like a massive pest. So wherever on his farm, there's always groups of pigs and stuff, Anyway, we were down chasing a buffalo, just in the Jeep. We call them bull catchers. They've got like no doors and stuff on them. Yeah, so we were down
In the Hilux.
yeah, and we were just actually trying to get rid of a buffalo out of one paddock, and then went down a ditch, and then we looked up in the other paddock, and there was just like this whole head of pigs, like big pigs, little pigs, sows, boars, little
Everything.
squeakies. And we were driving along, and Dad goes, jump out of the car and get it. And I'm like, yeah, and he's just like, get out of the car and catch a piglet. And me and Jackie are like, yeah, right. And he's like, I'm serious, get out. And we're like, oh my God, you're serious? And he's like, get out, and jump. And we're like, and he's still moving. He's not going fast, but the car's still moving. And so like I've jumped out, like eaten dirt, just totally missed the pig, but Jackie caught her little piglet. And yeah, I think that was approval for Dad.
I was like, yeah, they're my girls.
He's a man.
Yeah.
How old were you guys at the time?
Oh, 13,
No,
Not even?
Yeah, probably about
12,
11.
yeah,
About
11. Pretty young.
Yeah, pretty small.
Yeah, we were little. We were not very big kids, so we were only little.
And now you guys are sort of known locally as the girls who hunt pigs. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, we are pretty locally known as that. We do love hunting. It's really good fun.
It's a hobby
It's
for
a
us.
hobby. Our dogs love it. We love it. The farmers love it because we're getting rid of all their little pests, ripping up all their fruits and veggies and whatnot. So, yeah, we just go out. I mean, we always see people around, and Darwin is that small. Everybody knows everybody. So you go to the bottle and they're like, oh, hey, Crystal and Jackie, how's it going? Or, you see them and you're like, hey, how's it going? Or you drive down the street and you're waving flat out at everybody because you know everyone. But yeah, we do have a few people come up, and we even have people come up and, ask us if we would go out to their property and get rid of some pigs or whatnot. We're like, yeah, no worries.
It's a hobby for
It's
us.
a hobby. We'll do that for free. Yeah, no worries. So yeah, it's pretty. Anyone in Darwin is well known for everything they do. Pretty much, it's a really small place. It's really great.
Is your dad must be so proud of you girls when he's like, looks at his two badass daughters hunting pigs. Talk about that a little bit.
I think he's all right with it because we're doing him favours out on the farm. But I think it's more Mum. She's like, oh, yours are meant to be ladies. Ladies don't kill things. They don't kill everything that they see.
Yeah, we look at a pig and we're like, dead. You are dead. No, Dad's pretty proud. He loves doing it. He doesn't really love us hunting on his block because he's got cattle, and we hunt with dogs as well. So the dogs chase the cattle and stuff like that. But we've taught our dogs now not to chase the cattle, so we're allowed to go and hunt on his block and stuff. He loves it. He comes out with us.
He taught us how to do it.
He taught us how to do it all. So when we go fishing and stuff, like Mum had a great deal in teaching us all of that kind of stuff as well. She was the patient one. We learned how to tie on all our knots and stuff. We would do that with Mum. This is a patient job. But yeah, they're pretty proud of us.
Now when you hunt pigs, for Americans, like you go hunt these giant wild pigs and you use rifles. You guys use something else, right?
Yes. Yep. We got.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because it's a little bit more intense.
Yeah, it is a little bit more intense. So we do always bring a gun with us. Always, every time we'll bring a gun with us, just in case. Well, for one, we have to kill that animal straight away. So, we've got a gun there for our own protection. Or if, a buffalo comes running out or a crocodile comes running out, you always should have something to protect yourself. A lot of those things are illegal to shoot.
under different circumstances, just like if it comes in 5 meters radius, I think a crocodile is of you or something like that, you are actually
You're
allowed.
not going to get in trouble for shooting a crocodile
If it's trying to attack you. But with, what was the question? Pigs?
Pig hunting.
Pig hunting.
What do you do?
We just bring our dogs. We've got like, I think me and my partner have got like 5 dogs. So we've got, they're actually just house dogs. They walk around, they pat, we give them, feeds, and they run around in the block, and we don't cage them up or anything like that. They're just our pet dogs. But as soon as you put them out there, they become hunting dogs straight away. They love it. We take them with us. We just do a lot of walking, so we don't really go on the quads or we don't hunt off the back of the car. We do a lot. We do by foot, so we do a lot of walking of all the creeks and stuff like that. And we will actually let the dogs out first, plate them all up, whatnot, and put a glow stick on them if we're hunting at night time. Send them out, listen, and you just keep walking. We have trackers on them and everything just to make sure that we know where they are and we're not going to lose them. Let them out, have a bit of a run around. We just keep walking up the creek. They know your scent. They'll follow you where you're going. So they just have a little bit of a wander around. If they're onto something, you'll know about it straight away. Their barks are completely different. They start barking and carrying on, and it gets loud and noisy and hectic, and you just run.
You could be running for Ks, because the dog's running, the pig's running, and you're trying to run after it, getting that dog and pig. So you could be you could run for 2 Ks before you reach the dog and the pigs, and
you just run until you get to it. When you get to it, there's usually a couple of different kinds of dogs. You've got a lugger. A lugger is one that'll lug on to the animal and it won't let go. You got a bailer, so a bailer bails them up, and then you got a sniffer. Generally, a sniffer will find them. Those luggers are bailed up. Generally, they go for the ear or the tail or whatnot. You've got to come in, and behind their front, right, left, but front, one of their front, right or left legs, you stick right in behind there with a knife, because it's where their heart is, and you pretty much just stick the knife in, move it up and down a couple of times, out, they should be dead. The animal should be dead. It should be as quick and as easy as that. Should be dead all over.
Yeah, so sometimes you go up behind the animal, because the dog has the animal by the head, so you don't really have to worry about the animal coming, even though they do sometimes. You've got to be careful, but you don't have to worry about the head. So you grab its tail or you grab under its leg, and you just lean forward, and you just got to stick your knife in,
move it around a little bit,
and then it should just be dead straight away.
Yep. Another reason we take the guns as well, just in case that animal isn't dead straight away and it's really struggling, it gets and it starts to run away, and you're like, oh, I don't want to put this poor animal in more distress, as we've already put it through. But you shoot it, it's done, it's over quick, just like all the other hunters do.
Mind you, in saying all this, they're a massive pest up here.
Massive pest.
We hunt them because they're a pest,
and we like hunting them.
Yeah, and they're not native either.
No.
And I think it's important to note that they're not a native species. Yes. They're really bad for the environment up there. No, I think it's amazing, because we have a real problem with deer here, and it's to the point where there used to be 1,000 and now there are 700,000, because there are no predators here. So hunters have to go out. We need more people to hunt here. Because they spread disease. They have more deer.
Yeah, go. Let's have a deer.
Venison's delicious. And there's something very old-fashioned about how you guys hunt. It seems almost more fair, because it's very ancient. You're using dogs and tracking and knives, and you're not, sort of waiting in a blind for a family to come by and then picking them off with a high-powered rifle.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and it's so much more fun. I mean, you get the chase, which is the most fun bit. When you hear those dogs barking, you're like, yes, we're on. You run until you get there. It's the adrenaline when you actually get there, and you're like, oh, wow, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to approach this? It's so much fun. It is really good fun. But in saying that, fishing is just as fun.
Well, I was just going to ask you about fishing. Now, you guys fish for everything, but it seems like from your pictures, there's a lot of barramundi in there.
Yeah, yep. Well,
Yeah.
barramundi's our prized fish in the territory.
Yeah,
If you come to the territory or Darwin, like, you want to catch a barramundi.
yeah, that's what everybody raves on about. Barra.
Yeah.
And they're delicious, right?
Yes, they're one of the best tasting fish. But you can only you wouldn't go past 70 centimeters. Like, as they start getting big, because barra change sex when they get to a certain age, and then they become the breeder. And so as soon as they sort of hit 70, 80, 90, you sort of want to put them back anyway so that they can do the whole breeding process. But yeah, the smaller ones taste better. The bigger ones are just good to hold in a picture.
It's a good fight. It's a really good fight.
Yeah, they're good fighting fish.
Now, you guys, can you tell me, there are a couple of stories that you told me last time that I wish it had been better. I wish you hadn't been blobs in them. But tell me a little bit about crocodiles, because, obviously you're fishing. That the story of your twin telepathy is my favorite story from the whole thing. Where I guess what was it, Crystal? You were fishing on the bank, and Jackie got a feeling, or the opposite.
Yeah, so this is a really crazy story. We were fishing, and there's a place that we go on the Yellow River, and it's our secret spot. We do pretty well there, and we always go down there. And one day I just felt, something's not right here. We always check before we walk down to where the actual fishing area is. Make sure there's no crocodiles down there. Make sure there's no signage, nothing like that. It's pretty obvious. If there's any, dead fish carcasses hanging up around the place, then you just got to be a bit wary about that, because it all attracts the crocodiles. I was just standing there, and I had a really gut feeling. Where she was standing was a really big drop-off, and my dad and Nat had gone down there, and a couple of his mates, Greg and Glenn and stuff, and they'd said, there's a really big croc hanging around there, just be careful. And I had a really gut feeling that something was wrong, and I'm like, oh yeah, Crystal, let's just go. We'll go a bit further up the river and do a fishing. As she turned around to step out and up back onto the bank, a massive big crocodile put its head up and started going straight towards the bank where she was standing, and started almost just about climbing up the bank, and we were just like, run, freaking out. So, we're, even to this day, we don't stand near that edge at all anymore. We fish from the other side of the bank. Yep. Yeah, because that also drops off as a massive big rock bar. So there are a lot of crocodiles. It's really shallow around there. A lot of crocodiles, wait for the fish to go over that rock bar and snatch the fish off, just because it goes from deep to really shallow. So it is a common spot for them. We just had to be a bit careful. I just had a really bad gut feeling. We always do it every time there's something going on. If something's wrong with her, I can feel that something's wrong. If something's wrong with me, she can feel that something's wrong.
It's not like she's talking to me. We just sort of get like a
feeling.
Weird feeling.
Yeah, it's just a feeling.
It's just an uneasy feeling.
And it's not like, oh, I punch her and I can feel it. It's not that kind of feeling, but it's more so, if she does really hurt herself, I know about it, because I can feel that something isn't quite right. She was in Kununurra once doing some wakeboarding, and in WA, and the wakeboard had come back over her head and split her head open. She hadn't contacted anybody. Mum hadn't even been contacted, nothing. And I knew straight away, and I was trying to call her flat out, knew that something was wrong. Yeah, she called back. She's like, yeah, I'm sitting in hospital. I was like, I knew something was wrong. But yeah.
You just get the feeling.
Yeah. Get that feeling.
Tell me a little bit about what you guys used to do at the on the croc tours.
Yeah.
It's not a usual job.
No,
It's not a usual job. Fantastic job. Loved it.
it was a very good job. So what our job was to do was we would get tourists that come into Darwin,
they will come out on the tour buses, on the guides with the guides, and then our stop is usually the first stop. You know, they'll go to our crocodile cruise, and then they'll go to a swimming hole, and then they'll do other stuff. So ours is the first stop for the tour, and so we'll take them out on the boat, or we'll do a little bit of snake handling first, and they get to choose if they want to hold a couple of snakes and whatnot, and we'll take them out on the boat, and our job was to jump the crocodiles. So we had a long pole with a rope attached to it with a loop, and then on that loop we had our blobs of meat tied onto string, so that was about that. The string was about that long, and the meat would hang there, and then the croc would come up and grab the meat, and the string would break. The rope wouldn't break, just the string.
Cotton.
It was just cotton, so they can digest that really easy.
No
It wasn't a hazard
worries.
to them. And so we'd go out. We would go and get a couple to jump out of the water for the meat. So the meat's hanging there, and the croc would come up and jump and take it. And then we'd take a couple up, and we'll try put them up on the bank, and then we'll bank up on the bank in the boat, and then I'll splash the meat over here, and then the croc will come around to the boat, and our aim was to get them in front of the boat and all of their body out of the water, so people could actually see how big a crocodile is. Like, you only see 30% of the crocodile in the water. Yeah, when you see a crocodile floating in the water, it's only its head, it's only like 30%. It's nothing compared to how big they really are when they actually get on the land. And when you can get them on the land and see their body mass and see how long from head to tail and how big their scales are and how big their teeth are and just how moldy they are because how lazy they are, it's crazy. It's crazy. So,
Hey guys, you're cutting out to the point where I can't really hear what you're saying. I'm not sure. Do you guys want to stop the iPhone video and then restart it